Hi, everybody. It's Julia. Welcome to my presentation. This presentation on chapters 1 and 2 of Grounded Theory assumes you have done the reading and offers a brief summary and then a collaborative activity, as well as a couple options for handouts, as opposed to me prattling on for 5 minutes or so, summarizing something you've already read. So here we go. Let me share my screen and we'll dive right in. So I'm covering concepts in grounded theory, chapters 1 and 2. And the first chapter focuses on defining what grounded theory is. And according to the author, grounded theory methods consist of systematic yet flexible guidelines for collecting and analyzing qualitative data to construct theories from the data themselves. Thus, researchers construct a theory grounded in their data. Grounded theory begins with inductive data, involves iterative strategies of going back and forth between data analysis, uses comparative methods, and keeps you interacting and involved with your data and emerging analysis. So grounded theory really gives researchers an opportunity to be innovative. Instead of, say, just applying other people's theories, they would work with their own data, revisit their data, really lean into their data, listening to it, and come up with a novel theory to describe their findings. So what is in chapters 1 and 2? Well, as I mentioned, a description of grounded theory. It also provides historical context for how folks arrived at the concept of grounded theory. It also outlines the process for constructing grounded theory and gives a much higher resolution version of this diagram. And then chapter 2 moves on to data, to talking about and describing and really encouraging us to expand our definition of what counts as data. And one of the phrases that I pulled out of there that I think really captures the chapter is all is data. It does talk about ethnography and documents, but it encourages folks to look at other things as data that would inform one's analysis and then ultimately lead to a theory grounded in that data. So to engage with some of these concepts, I've created a collaborative activity that is entitled the Early Stops Idea Board, and it's on Padlet. And so for those of you who haven't used Padlet yet, I'm going to show you my example and then invite you to hang on beyond the 5-minute mark if you want a little tutorial. So our collaborative Padlet counts as one of my handouts, but I've also created another handout. Let me share that first before we go to Padlet. I found a few of the checklists in chapters 1 and 2 super helpful and wanted to offer a strategy that I use with students for creating metacognitive reading lists. And so this is a bookmark. So you would print it out, fold it in half, and these offer checklists for folks who are interested in engaging in grounded theory or want to assess and analyze their data to ensure that it's rich and sufficient to be able to have handy as opposed to having to continually go back and revisit the book. So I would invite you, if you are interested in engaging more with grounded theory throughout your research, to print these out, fold it in half, laminate it if you have access to one, and there you go. You can tuck it inside of your grounded theory book or the other books you are reading as you are on your path. All right. I will also create a QR code for the Padlet and put it into the PowerPoint that is shared to the Google folder. All right, so here is our collaborative activity on Padlet. It is entitled the Early Stops Idea Board because, as the author mentions in chapter 1 of the text, grounded theory and methods lead you to make early stops to analyze what you find along your path. And that is precisely what this Padlet, this idea board, is inviting us to do, is to make an early stop. So I've created two entries. And like I said, if you want to stop watching this video now and read these on your own and engage with this on your own, go for it. We've hit that 5 minute mark. But hang on if you want to hear a little bit more about how to create this. And also, I'm going to go ahead and share mine as exemplars. So I created two. So the Early Stops Idea Board invites us to think about what we are including as data and the questions that that data raises. And then, and really putting on our imagination caps, especially for me, it invites us to think about, okay, so let's pretend for a moment we've got this rich and sufficient data. What theory is emerging from this data, and what might we call it? So first, doing data. So this is a picture of me and one of my co-creators on a run here in Seattle about a month ago, and my dog, of course. And I entitled the entry "Doing Data." So, allowing my research question to guide my methods means I often engage in pláticas with my co-creators while running. In addition to relationship building, these runs offer rich opportunities for gathering data, especially when data is understood as everything. All is data. For example, Sergio's enactment of correr constitutes more than the act of running. An RD board member and runner of color, Sergio enacts correr as both physical and social justice movement. As such, there is data to be gathered in how he, a visitor to Seattle where this run took place, moves within and through the spaces and places along the route and at the start end point. Is he on the job during this run, networking with new folks? Is he chatting it up with local friends? Or is he taking time for silent contemplation? A follow-up question for me might be, how does this enactment of correr compare to his others, to my other co-creators' enactments? And my second entry, entitled A Grounded Theory, is really where I got creative, right? So, donning my grounded theory imagination cap, decorated with the assumption I have gathered enough, quote, rich and sufficient data. I was using the bookmark, of course. I have constructed a theory I am calling corriendo constructivo to capture the fluid, multiple, personal, and collective enactments of correr. Note, I made this up for funsies. I intend to apply established theories rather than take a grounded theory approach. So have fun with it, También. Okay, the additional tutorial information now that it's your turn. These are my two entries. I did them differently so you could see different iterations. So in this one, I included a photo. In this one, I included a GIF. But what you can do is you hit the plus sign and you'll be able to pin your entry. So let's see. So you could just create a list, for example, of some of the things that are counting as data. So we'll just call it my data. And then there's all these different options that you can choose, from which you can choose to give it a little pizzazz, right? So I did a GIF and I included a picture. But let's see here. So you could record some audio. You could include a link to a YouTube video. You could record your own video. You could create a poll if you wanted to. That would be kind of fun and keep the back and forth going, right? Which of course is part of grounded theory, is that back and forth. Let's draw something. It's going to be great. You just wait. How about a smiley face? Great eyes. Excellent nose. Boom, there we go. That's my data, facial expressions, right? Totally. Okay, I'm going to close it and not save it because I don't want it. And then down here, I would write something beautiful, right? So maybe this is just going to be a list. I went a little overboard with my initial entries because I really wanted to create some solid exemplars and show different ways of approaching it. But here's my list. Facial expressions, our data, silences, mundane silences, right? Doesn't that comes from one of our other texts? Oh gosh, what else? Everything, all. There you go. Okay, so then you would hit publish if you're done. I'm not going to on this because, but we'll delete that. And then yours would join everybody else's. And this becomes a virtual handout for all of us. So like I said, options, you have a bookmark, we have a Padlet. And I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to end it there. If you hung on for the tutorial, thank you. Yay. I really look forward to seeing what y'all create on Padlet. And please, please, please have fun with it. It's just an opportunity to playfully engage with the concepts in chapters 1 and 2 in grounded theory. Okay, thanks everybody.